I did switch to like steak and eggs for breakfast, and I found that's like a power up. I
Oh,
just have like steak and eggs, no bread or anything,
yeah. It's
and
great.
it's great actually. It's a power up, I'd say.
People take for breakfast, that's something I would never do. Five foods I avoid at 62 for wise health. That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Hachiaki Takamiya, a 62-year-old biohacker based on Japanese natural health and the author of Live Wiser, Not Smarter. I think I'm relatively healthy 62 years old because I have had clean bills of health for many years now, and I had a good result from the Cooper test last year to measure my VO2 max, and I had a pretty good bone mass test as well. For details, please watch my last video. The actual title is Five Foods That Keep Me Young at 62, My Daily Secret. So today I'll share with you five foods that I avoid. Now, in the thumbnail, it says five foods I never eat. Technically speaking, that is not true because there is no food that I never eat. As you know, I don't like making rules. In the Ikigai diet, we don't make rules. This is because when you make too many rules, sometimes it is not sustainable. It is difficult to practice. Many people seem to think in terms of 0 or 100, but I don't think like that. It depends on the situation. For example, if I were invited somewhere for dinner and then this food that I usually avoid is offered, I would still eat it. I would not refuse it because that kind of complicates life. Or sometimes when I go to a restaurant and there's a salad, then in the dressing, it contains a piece of, I don't know, animal product or something, whatever, but the amount is very small, then I would not care about that so much. I mean, of course, if you are avoiding certain food for religious reason or ethical reason or whatever, maybe I understand that. But if it's for the health reason, I think that tiny amount doesn't affect your health that much. And the quantity matters. So, there are certain food that, you usually consume in like a large amount, but some ingredient you don't really consume in a large amount, like a butter, for example. I mean, some people avoid butter because it contains trans fat, for example. But usually, when you have butter, you kind of spread the butter a little bit on your bread or something, and you don't really consume a large amount. So it doesn't affect your health as much as other food. So it's all, depending on the situation. And it kind of makes your life easier if you don't make rules. But this is my opinion. So what do you think? Please write your views in the comment section below. Those of you who have read the Ikigai Diet, you might remember chapter 10, the 7 foods that will age you faster. And I gave a list of 7 foods. Now, the 5 foods I avoid are not necessarily the same as this list. Plus, some of the foods that in the list of the 5 foods that I avoid are kind of unique. So you may be surprised to hear them. So please watch the video until the end. Now, those of you who just discovered this video today, this is the Ikigai Diet channel, which is a health and longevity channel. We usually cover things like diet, exercise, mindset, and sometimes we cover Japanese blue zones because there are several blue zones in Japan other than Okinawa, and we cover from traditional Japanese health method to modern Japanese health trend, such as Chokatsu. So basically, this is a channel about how to increase health span for people over 50 or 60. So if you're interested, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Now, some years ago, I wrote a novel in Japanese called Misoshiru Romance, which means miso soup romance. Yeah, by the way, this is only available in Japanese, not in English. I'm sorry. But anyway, in the story, there's a main character called Akira Takaoka. he comes up with a sort of method called Zen and Art of Miso Soup Eating, and he sort of gives a workshop or seminars. And then in the seminar, he introduces 33 different ways of eating miso soup. His idea is by introducing lots of recipes, people will start using all those healthy ingredients and then their diet will change instead of talking about the food to avoid. Because when you talk about food to avoid, then your kind of mind becomes negative, but you don't need that because if you filled your diet with all good ingredients, then you have no room left for bad food. So you end up eliminating those bad food anyway. So the idea is to pay attention to the positive aspect of your health, and you don't need to think about the negative aspect of your health. So this is my idea. So I don't like to talk about food to avoid so much in general. That's something I want to say. And this is also because there are nocebo effects, means if you receive a negative information, sometimes psychologically that affect your health negatively. So sometimes it is better not to know. I mean, it's okay if things like sugar. I mean, we all know sugar is bad for us. So by talking about sugar is bad, it doesn't affect us so much because we already know. But there are certain videos saying the truth about this healthy ingredient was actually really bad for you. That type of information is not helpful sometimes because then what happens if you had been consuming that ingredient for the last 3 years for the health reason? Now you feel bad. You feel like, oh my goodness, all I've been doing was actually bad for me, but it may not have been bad. But now it can become bad. So it's not productive to us so much. But for detail, I made a video about this. It's called The Paradox of Health Data, How Knowledge Can Hurt Your Gains. Okay, so what are the positive foods then? Mago wa yasashi koku. I cannot stress enough. Eat mago wa yasashi koku, which means beans, nuts and seeds, seaweeds, vegetables, fish, mushrooms, tubers, whole grains, and fruit. Please choose as many different ingredients from each category as possible. Diversity is the key. And you want to eat fermented food as well. So mago wa yasashi koku and fermented foods. If you eat them, then you should be okay. Now, with all this in mind, what are the 5 foods that I personally avoid? The first one is soft drinks. Anything sugar, any sugary thing I usually avoid, but especially soft drinks. This is because, according to Dr. Zenji Makita, who is the author of 医者が教える食事術, which means a diet a doctor recommends. He is a specialist in diabetes, and he has seen over 20,000 patients in diabetes, and he came up with a 5 list of sugar-rich foods. And the soft drinks are the worst in the list. He says that sugar in a liquid format is the worst way of taking. So if you are to avoid sugar, the first thing you need to eliminate from your diet are the soft drinks. And then many people think about carbs. Yeah, carbs are bad too, according to him too. But the carbs themselves are not bad. The sugar, when carbs turn into sugar, that becomes the problem. You need to avoid certain sugar-rich food first before thinking about avoiding carbs. The second group is processed meat or processed food in general. So this is something RFK Jr. is saying now. He's talking about ultra processed food is killing us and so on. But this has been a kind of common sense among health conscious people. And many experts seem to agree on this. Whether you are vegan or a carnivore or you practice ketogenic diet, you seem to agree on this point that processed meat are bad for us. I try to avoid it as much as possible, but again, not never. because when I go to England on holiday or something, I would probably like to try English breakfast again, just to enjoy the taste of sausages, bacons, and stuff like that. So from time to time, if I go to a festival and there is a hot dog stand, I might try hot dog as well. So it's not never, but I try to avoid it as much as possible from my daily diet.
I did switch to like steak and eggs for breakfast, and I found that's like a power up.
Oh,
So I just have like steak and eggs, no bread or anything.
yeah.
And
That I would never eat. I would never want to eat steak for breakfast. Sausages and eggs may be okay, but steak not for breakfast. Plus, I don't know what else he is. He said nothing else, just eggs and steak. If that is the case, if that is true, I don't think that is a good breakfast because you need fiber in the morning. Now, the reason why you need protein in the morning, many longevity experts are talking about the importance of the protein in the morning because you have a long absence from eating during your sleep. You may have maybe 10 hours to 12 hours fasting. Even if you don't practice intermittent fasting, if you finish eating around 7 p.m. and then if you have breakfast at 7 a.m., you have 12 hours of fasting period. So the body require nutrient, the fasting in the morning. And that is why many longevity experts are saying you need protein in the morning because protein is one of the most important nutrients. But the same thing is true about fiber because gut microbiome, the beneficial bacteria in your gut are hungry because of the absence of food during the sleep. And so they need fiber. They require fiber too. And the same with other nutrients. It's a little too simplifying to say you just need protein. No, you need all kinds of nutrients, including fiber. But fiber is another critical thing that you need in the morning for your gut health, but also for the protein absorption because gut health is critical. The gut microbiome need to be in good shape for you to absorb protein efficiently. So to me, if your goal is to absorb enough protein in the morning, not having fiber in your breakfast is pointless. You want to have both protein and fiber for your breakfast. And you know what food that contains both? Natto. Natto has both fiber and protein. But anyway, so what about meat in general? Well, I avoid factory farmed meat. Now, you know that I do eat meat. So on the weekend, so I usually set my week to be K period and the Hare period. So during the week is the K period, and on the weekend is the Hare period. So I try to stay on a plant-based diet with fish as much as possible during the K period. But on the Hare period, on the weekend, I do eat some meat. But I usually eat organic meat, not factory farmed meat. And this Hare and Ken system is very good. Because I limit the meat consumption only on the weekend, I can afford organic meat. But if I were to eat meat every day, it would become too expensive to consume organic meat every single day. Then you'd have to include factory farmed meat. For someone like Elon Musk, it is possible to consume organic meat every single day or even every single meal. That's possible, but that is not practical for most of us in general public. But you need to put that into your consideration too. For some reason, the economy is never discussed in the field of health and longevity. All those longevity experts talk about nutrition, never economy. But this is very important for most people in the general public. What about plant-based meat? This is something I absolutely avoid, meaning I never eat it. In fact, if you had to ask me what food that you never eat, you eliminate from your diet, this is the plant-based meat. The reason is because I have never eaten it. That means I am not contaminated yet. I'm still pure. Therefore, the last thing I want to do is to put this food into my body. That is a difference. For other food like, processed meat or even factory farmed meat, I have eaten them a lot in my life. So by eating it again or by eating a little bit, it doesn't make that much difference. But with a plant-based meat, because now it's a zero, so I don't want to make it, one or two, even though it's a small amount. Um, Now, as far as the safety of plant-based meat, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't know the ingredient in detail well enough to be able to judge whether it is good for us or bad for us. I mean, some people say it is good for us, so you don't need to worry about. Maybe that is true, but this is something I don't know. But one thing I know is this is processed food. This is ultra processed food, if you think about it. It is far from Ichibutsu Zen Taishoku, which is a concept in Zen Shojin diet. It means eating food as a whole, eating whole food, but it means eating food as close to the natural state as possible. It's the whole idea. So if you kind of make changes, then it becomes farther away from the concept of Ichibutsu Zen Taishoku. And also, this is something new. It's something we don't know. Therefore, there's not much data about the side effect of this food. What happens if you consume it every single day for the next 10 years? We don't have data yet. So we just need to wait. So maybe after 10 years or after 20 years, we have more data, then I can think about it then. But not now when we don't have any data yet. And the last thing is, I don't need to eat this. I can eat beans. I can eat natto. I can eat tofu. Why bother thinking about something you don't need? The same thing is true about GM food. So the last thing I avoid is GM natto, meaning natto using GM soybeans. Now, most natto sold in Japan are not using GM soybeans. But and in my case, I don't buy natto. I make natto myself, so it doesn't concern me. But when you buy natto, you need to be careful. You need to check the ingredient to see if they are not using GM soybeans. If they are using GM soybean, then that is something I avoid. Okay, so to sum up, the food I avoid are soft drinks, processed meat, factory farmed meat, plant-based meat, and GM natto. But again, you don't need to worry too much because diet is just a part of your whole lifestyle. The important thing is diversity in activities to do many things. Diet, exercise, fasting, sleep, heat exposure, cold exposure, brain optimization. They are all important. And if you have a well-rounded, healthy lifestyle, a little thing doesn't affect you so much. Even if you eat those food, it doesn't affect you so much if you're doing all this. So that is the reason why I'm not so strict. But if you're not doing all those, if you're only doing the diet, maybe you need to be more strict on what you eat and what you don't eat. So it all depends on your situation. To understand this, please read chapter 3, The Ideal Diet to Increase Health Span in Live Wiser, Not Smarter. In fact, the book covers everything you need to know to increase your health span, such as diet, fasting, exercise, sleep, heat and cold exposure, and brain optimization. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya, the author of Live Wiser, Not Smarter. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And please leave your comment. What are the 5 foods that you avoid, or 5 or 7 or 3 or whatever? But what are the foods that you avoid? Please write that in the comment section below. Thank you. Now, I say sometimes negative information is not good because it can create nocebo effect, and I made a video about it. Well, this is the